3. We've got ignition. 2, 1. We've got RIP takeoff. We've got RIP takeoff, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mouthpiece Included. Today, our coverage, our hottest topic is going to be the Black Fives, pro basketball's Negro leagues. Plus, we got several great hot topics lined up for you cats today. As always, the pin to pull up is in the link. This is an open panel. Get with it or get without it. Get with it or get without it. Just give us a couple minutes for some house cleaning out there. Couple minutes for some house cleaning. Please take this time to like, share, and subscribe. Let's get it. TATN.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research.
Included.
Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Who are the guys that are the best in the world and make the rest of the team look like a gaggle of girls?
Okay, I'm in my local Ralph's, and this happened.
I don't go to church, and I know God understands.
Man, where do they keep the honey around here? Excuse me, you know where the honey is?
Who are the guys that are the best in the world and make the rest of the team look like a gaggle of
Cheese
girls?
Al. Who wants cheese head?
I don't go to church, and I know God understands. I can stay on my couch because God is a fan of the Bears.
Who are the guys that are the best in the world and make the rest of the team look like a gaggle of girls? The Bears!
I don't go to church, and I know God understands. I can stay on my couch because God is a fan of the Bears.
Who are the guys that are the best in the world and make the rest of the team look like a...
Well, guys, let's go to the swimming pool. Let's go take a shower. Let's go water skiing.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
There he is.
Be sure to bring a towel so you don't get all wet.
That's right. Don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. Be sure to bring your mouthpiece or you get all wet. Where y'all at? Slide through. Pull up. You still got the cojones. As mentioned, as always, our show format, we got some Bears socks Cubs, the little Bears, the baby Bears. They got they had their opening series. We're gonna go over that. Of course, we got some NBA news. Looks like the Bulls have positioned themselves in for the playoffs. Playoffs? Are you kidding me? Playoffs. And of course, we're going to unpack those Chicago Bears, what's going on in this offseason, keep you in tune and in alignment, FGB, bear down. And today's hottest topic, amongst other hot topics, the hottest topic is the Black Fives, basketball's Negro leagues. Pull up. The link is pinned in the chat. All right, so let's do it. Let's get the resident co-host, world traveler, Jackie Robinson's finest.
Mouthpiece Included. TATN. What's
going on? Bear down, bear down, bear down, bear down. What down, bro?
Bear down. Hey, another Sunday in paradise. World traveling? Nah, I'm not world traveling. I'm country traveling. It's been a a minute since I've ventured out into the world because of your last president, who was changing the laws while people were in the air. And I don't, we'll see what happens with this new one and the future lawmakers, but I don't go too far from the states. God bless America and nowhere else. But everything is good, man. I'm in the western part of New York. Not near the Brooklyn Zoo. I'm near the Buffalo Wild Mob. Probably gonna go check out that stadium today, the Falls, and see what's going on out here in Buffalo, New York. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. But everything's good. Everything's good. Sun is shining. Finally, been raining every day for the last damn week, but everything's good. Glad to be able to jump on here on Mouthpiece included on TATN. Like, share, subscribe, and pull up all those people with opinions and armchair quarterbacks and armchair GMs and armchair coaches and armchair second and third string quarterbacks. Pull up to Mouthpiece included, and don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. We got a lot of stuff to go over, especially with the end of the college basketball season, beginning of baseball season. So, I had to jump on while I'm here in Buffalo.
Yeah, and you guys in the armchair conservatives, pull up. Pull up. We've this is some information you might be able to learn something or even edify us. So, we always look forward to a good exchange of information. But as this brother said, if you do pull up, don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. You can get your feelings hurt.
We're not here to hurt your feelings. Just here to correct your mind cipher.
That's right.
Maybe.
Politics.
Politics is what it is.
I was told never discuss politics or sports. It leads to a lot of behind the barbershop fights.
It was in Chicago. It's gunplay now. They don't know how to fight anymore. They break out their pistolas.
They don't even get driver's licenses no more, man. The kids say it's too scary.
Get a Floyd card.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's crazy, man. I'm sure you're seeing it. A decrease in 16-year-olds coming to get their license. They shook, man. They order everything off Uber Eats and those ordering platforms. They jump into Uber and their parents taxi cab them around.
Well, now they have to take driver's ed under the age of 21 to get a license, and they don't want to read the book. Or nobody wants to teach them how to drive or the rules of the road. They just don't want to read, so they normally just wait till they're 21 now.
Well, the parents of my parents' generation, they didn't chauffeur you around, and they each had cars. So you got to the point at 16 when you was like, I'm tired of asking for the car.
Right.
I'm tired of riding the bus in the L. You know what I'm saying? And
sure.
I got to get me a license and get me a whip. You know what I mean?
Got to figure something out here.
Yeah, we didn't have Uber, and if we had Uber, there's no way in hell I would have had an app. I mean, unless I was paying for it. Imagine that. Yeah, I'm going over to A's crib. I'm jumping Uber.
Yeah, I'm jumping Uber. Use your. You better Uber your ass on that green machine. Here's a token.
Right. Get you a super transfer. Super transfers were great.
Oh my goodness. Sunday was just like paradise.
And holidays.
Yeah.
Going to Everblack Plaza. We going to the Plaza
all day. Yeah, I got my super transfer.
Let's go ahead and get into it, bro. I want to kick it off. Sox Cubs. We'll start with your Sox. Man, they're at the Astros, and when I did this, they were 1-1 in that opening series. Who won that series, bro?
Yeah. Well, they're 1-2 as of now. Unfortunately, the White Sox were unable to pull the series out, even though Altuve is still hurt. We got a new manager. They had great opening day pitching from Dylan Cease, but it went downhill after that. They were close games. And matter of fact, Abreu came and stung him right in the rear end yesterday to pull out that second victory against the Sox. Shout out
Abreu. His name sounds familiar.
Oh, yeah. I think he used to be our first baseman for the last 10 damn years. Yeah, no interest. So they're trying to retool the White Sox as of now. We'll see what happens in the upcoming future. But yeah, it's not looking good. Looking like another 500 year at best. And hopefully, we'll see what happens. It doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs. But
they can stay healthy. The Sox, I've come to discover, they're like the LA Clippers of the MLB. If they can just stay healthy and not get tweaked,
Yeah, they can. They got all these young guys and they always get hurt. They run into the wall and pull a clavicle or dive for a ball and disjoint the conolingus of the situationist of the left nerve, and they'll be back in 3-4 months. And the season's over by then. So it is what it is.
All right. And then jumping over to the north side and leaving the south side, looks like the Cubs, was it a 2-game series or something? I'm showing that they started with the Brew Crew at home, and it's Cubs, 1-1.
Cubs in first place.
So is it a 2-game series, or is the third game today? Is the rubber game today?
I believe the rubber game's got to be today. I've been.
It is. You're right. It is probably now. I think they start shortly.
Yeah. So the Cubs might end up with opening weekend the same record as the White Sox. We'll see later on today, but hopefully they'll stay in first place with a victory today against the Brew Crew. I hate Milwaukee.
You're low on the north siders. You don't know what's in their hearts.
Yeah, I mean, I know what's in their hearts. Damn it, when I came home from school as a youth, you had the Jerry Curl closer, Lee Smith out there, and Leon Durham.
Oh, they hated Lee Smith. He's a Hall of Famer, boy. They blamed Lee Smith. He was out there throwing the heat, had movement, had control, was getting saves, leading the league, breaking records. But they would, anytime he failed, boy, they wanted his head on a platter.
To kill his own family. Yeah,
my Cubbies.
Yeah, and what else they had? Lee Smith. They had Leon Durham on first base. We had the Sean meter, Sean Dunston.
Don't forget about Jerome Walton.
Yeah. And the players before them with the Ernie Banks and the
Mr. Cub.
Mr. Cub.
Yeah, but he had to live on the south side. You guys, he wasn't allowed to live up north.
We didn't know
segregation. And
what was in his neighbors' hearts back when he was playing for the Cubs. But.
Yeah. He couldn't live in Wrigleyville, but he could sure play there.
Yeah, he'd come over and get right out of town before sundown. Yeah, that's why they played the day games. They had to be out the north side before the sun went down.
I'm a diehard Cubs fan, unfortunately. And so I got him. I'm a little more high on the Cubs than you are on your Sox. I'm not going to say they're going to win the division because they haven't spent enough money. I got them, I want to say third, but the homer in me is saying second. Second place divisional finish. They're going to flirt, with the, what do you call that?
Playoffs. Playing.
Yeah, they're going to flirt with that series. Yeah.
Whatever participation trophy playoffs they got going on now.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with
it. Yeah. Everybody goes to the playoffs. The regular season is meaningless. They all say. Yeah.
Just wait till the end of the year and get your participation trophy playoff appearance. Get you some hoodies or shirts and hats saying we made it to the playoffs in 2023, and lose a game and go on. But you made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, you made it. All right, let's push on. And y'all know today's hottest topic is going to be the Black Fives. That's basketball's professional basketball's Negro leagues. Pull up. The link is pinned in the chat. If you do pull up, don't forget to bring your damn mouthpiece.
Sure.
All right. How about them Bulls? When I built this, they were 37-40. I think that's still the same. They're currently in the 10th slot. They're holding on to that 10th playoff seed.
Playoffs.
Yeah, the 10th playoff seed. They're 3 games ahead of the Wizards, and 1 game out from the 8th seed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we had doubt in the old Bulls and what they could do to make it to the playoffs or the play-in game or whatever faceted participation trophy league wants to give them this year. So, but it looks like that they're going to make it at least to the play-in game, unless they totally tank this week. But they got a couple of tough games, and then they got Detroit to finish out the season. So if they can't win enough to get in the playoffs this week, I mean, what you gonna do?
Well, they're not going to be able to catch the Heat in the 7th seed. So, okay, right now as it stands, they would have to go to the Heat in the play-in, and the Bulls would have to win a game on the road at the Heat, and then they'd have to. So basically, the Bulls would have to win 2 games. If and when the Heat would win 1 game, then the Heat automatically wins that series and move on.
Okay.
Potentially, though, they can end up with that number 8 seed, which would give us a home game against the Raptors, or it'll actually be the Hawks probably.
Okay.
And we'd have to win 1 game if we can get that 8th seed, 1 game against the Hawks. Yeah, that's doable.
Yeah. Against the Hawks, maybe if they can win the game and get that series at home. I just don't have a lot of confidence in the Bulls defending the home court or the road or anything. But the Hawks are a 500 team that if the Bulls get them at home, they can do some damage against them. Depending on who shows up. I mean, I have no fear in them making at least a play-in, but hopefully they can get to that 8th seed and proceed to get to a series in the playoffs and get destroyed in the first round.
Because then it would be the Bucks or the Celtics. I would prefer, though. I'm just tired of seeing Bulls Bucks. Yeah. I would prefer to see them go up against the Celts.
I think it would be a better first round matchup for the Bulls. I mean, I can't say that they would come out on top, but it would be a better first round matchup.
Yeah, damn right they won't come out on top. Now, I will eat crow about that. Listen, I told you last week, if the Bulls beat Boston or Milwaukee, I will eat crow. Go ahead. In a series.
In a series. Yeah, I don't see them winning, but at least they fell into the Milwaukee series last year, and they lost. Playing against Boston this year would be it'd probably be the same result, but you get a different look, a different set of experiences for your players. But the thing
Boston
is,
got that rookie coach. We don't know if he's processing. He on the clock.
Man, he doesn't need to process against the Bulls. They just need to show up. It's still a matter of who's going to be on the team after the season's over. Whether it's next week, the following week, or the week after that, So,
well, here's something I wanted to ask you. They're talking Zion Williamson. He's always on bed rest.
Damaged goods.
Well, yeah, and the team is winning without him.
Yeah.
Now, if New Orleans called you, I know you like to take calls as a GM.
Yeah, I take the calls.
If New Orleans called you and they said, "Listen, we want to put together a package. We'll give you Zion, but we need Zach LeBedrest." Hold it. I'm going to increase the package.
Okay.
We need Zach LeBedrest, and we need shithole Vukovic. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we need your 2027 and your 2026. No, your 2025 and your 2026 first rounders. Are you pulling the trigger on such deal and bringing in damaged goods, Zion Williamson?
So you're saying Zach LeBedress.
Zach LeBedress.
And plus my 2 first-round picks.
Don't forget about shithole Vukovic.
And Vukovic for Zion Williams. Oh, yeah, he's on the first thing smoking.
Yeah. I would do that.
He's on the first thing smoking.
You'd have to build through free agency, which the Lakers are able to do. I would definitely do that because players would want to play with Zion. I would even give up a third first-round pick if that floats their boat, and send them some Harold's Chicken and Giordano's deep dish pizza.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no offense to Zach LeBedress, who has played quite a number of games.
Hats off to LeBedress. He got stronger as the year went, and he's putting in work.
Yeah. But you're not going to win with them. You're not going to win a chip with them.
Can't win with them. Can't win without them.
So, ship them on off and start mixing up the team. If Zach can rest here, Zion can rest here as well. Keep him away from the Maxwell Street Polish places, and get him
Jewtown.
You can't say that. You can't say that.
I didn't say H-Town. I didn't go Jesse Jackson on him.
Didn't go Jesse Jackson on him. Yeah, but that kind of move and that kind of capital, I'm definitely making that move. Absolutely.
And look at it from a New Orleans perspective. Now they have, their team intact. You're adding them a quality big, who's probably got 3 good years left in him. Yeah. And they're getting Zach LeBedress, who's got at least 5 good years left in him. Might help them in the West. Yeah, might help them in the West.
Yeah.
And his game is made for the West. He doesn't care about defense.
No, not at all. I mean, every time they interview him after the game, they ask him the same question. How's it coming along on the defensive end? He's like, well, I'm working at it. I'm doing this such a thing, and that. Why they got to keep asking you about it if you're really doing anything? So we know he doesn't want to play any damn defense. Send him somewhere where he doesn't have to, and let's go from there.
Yeah, it'd be a good move for both teams. So get on the phone, whatever your name is, our GM. Whatever his name is. Exotic dancers twerking and stripping at the Bulls game. How much of this is, would you say is akin to Megan Thee Stallion and all the twerking going on TV? But how does that make you feel as a black father, as a black man, seeing our women up there doing what's normally done at a gentleman's club in the dark at 2-3 in the morning, twerking with their bums out, and kids are at the stadium and things of this nature? I mean,
it was surprising that they were able to get away with this shenanigans in a Chicago Bulls luxury box at the United Center. For those who you haven't heard, that there was a skybox rented out at the stadium.
Twerking incident.
And there was a twerking incident where they were celebrating a birthday, and a female exotic dancer came and dropped it like it hot.
She was colored.
Was she melanated? Of course she was. Yeah, she was colored, and she was dropping it like it hot in the skybox. And of course, people with the kids and the other boxes around this particular box, they were dropping the $1 bills and shooting out the money machine and all that good stuff. They alerted security, and the United Center faithful security team said, this wasn't allowed, and put out their statements. But it's surprising that someone would do this at a Bulls game. You could have rented out any kind of area to
they should have pulled it when Houston was in town. Not Houston, Philly. When the Beard was in town, that girl would have been able to retire.
Yeah. They could have put his jersey. He could have signed his Philly jersey and put it right in the skybox there. And,
right in the Raptors, right in between Pippen and Jordan.
Pippen, Jordan, and the Beard. In perpetuity.
The beard would have walked off the court and went up there. Here's my PIN number. Here's a blank check. Write any number in there you want.
Yeah, you don't need me for this game, do you? I mean, we got a victory going on here. So.
Well, one thing my late grandmother used to always tell me, she was a G. She put the G in grandmother.
All right.
There's a time and a place for everything.
Absolutely.
Well, she would say everything has a place. Put everything in its place, and there's a time and a place for everything. Words to live by.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
if you want to go to the Bulls game, go to the Bulls game. If you want to shake your bum, you do that. Have a private party somewhere. You're gonna rent out the luxury box in front of all these kids. You know what I mean? And shake your bum.
Yeah.
We don't even have cheerleaders.
They got the grandmas, the grandmas that dance and whatever else they come up for different games. The bucket boys, but to put the exotic dancer out there in front of the kids in the skybox. Yeah, that was it's kind of tasteless. There's many places you could have blew that money.
Absolutely. All right, so y'all know the hottest topic is right behind me. It's the Black Fives. Professional basketball's Negro leagues doesn't get a lot of talk, so we're going to unpack that later in the show. All right, so let's move on. We're talking Bear Down. This is our Bear Down segment. I said it in our mock draft, trade down to about right where they are now.
Yeah, you did.
I'm flirting and with trading down once again. Now, there'll be no more trading down. I'm taking the Bill Belichick Patriots method.
All right.
We need as many players as we can get this year. Now, next year, with all the ones, I'm not trading none of those, and I'm going to draft high quality, guys. But this year, if one of those quarterbacks are left and one of these organizations says, hey, we want to move up from 18 to 9. Listen, give me your 18 this year, give me your 2 this year, and give me your 2 next year. We got a deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got a deal.
Yeah, I mean, the holes that are on this team, if you get a couple of 2s and even a later round, first round pick, you're going to come out getting what you need. It may be a player at 9 that you want. So maybe not 18, but even if you can get to 12 or 11, one of those teams want to jump up and pick up a player. You got to take that into consideration. But yeah, if I can get that kind of draft capital out of this one pick, I'm trading again. Absolutely. Because they got too many deficiencies in talent as far as the roster that was decimated last year by cutting players and 1-year contracts and the guys that had to go. So I would go ahead and do whatever I could to get as much draft capital and get some players in here that want to play some football.
Yeah, and 2 things. I like Poles, almost said Pace. I like Ryan Poles, his ability to take less and get a lot out of him, which has to be said. And they talk about the coaching staff laying the foundation, coaching players up. So this would be a good time to do it. Now next year, you want to bring in those ones because now we're truly pushing to make something happen. Fields is late in his contract. You want to bring in those ones, just bring in as many ones as possible. Right. But I do like our ability to coach these guys up. And if somebody approached me at 9, I'm pulling the trigger every day, all day. Yeah. Anything else you want to comment on the Bears, bro?
Well, I'm still high on the free agency picks that we made and on the defense, as well as the DJ Moore acquisition. But to shore up the linebacker core like they did, got us a couple D linemen. We're about maybe four more away from having a team, so we can take care of that in the draft and maybe in free agency still. They're in a good position. There's no way the defense could be any worse than it was last year. And that Edmonds kid they got out of Buffalo, that guy's a stud. And everybody want to still talk about Roquan Smith and letting him go on this $100 million and all that crap. That guy we got is an absolute stud.
Yeah, but can he process? I mean, he's
he can process. He can intercept the ball. He can tackle. He got 149 damn tackles last year. And the other guy we got from Philly had 150 tackles.
Does he have the mental capacities to orchestrate the defense and call the plays like Urlacher did?
He's a two-time All-Pro, and he's 24 years old.
He is 24.
Man, so I'm high on what the Bears will be able to do defensively next year. Maybe pick up another DB and start working on that line.
Well,
whatever we got to do.
We got some chatter in here from Coach H. Moultrie.
All right.
I bet you John Morant wouldn't have done what he did in Colorado and Chicago. Memphis at Chicago today, 2:30 p.m. Well, first of all, I'm predicting a Bulls win because John Morant is all about the drill music and wants to be a drill rapper, in my opinion. So y'all need to get him out there with Lil Durk and get him on O Block and let him go out there and post videos of himself out there. You know what I mean? Put him on 64th, not 63rd, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
We'll get him on a lot.
Yeah. Get him out there and get him distracted. You know what I'm saying? Get some of those everyday hood rats out there.
Yeah. Plenty of those.
Yeah, so I'm predicting a Bulls win against John Morant, Coach.
Yeah. We got Drummond coming back.
He's back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got some, the Bulls are focused on home games. They can win some home games, but they poked the bear against LeBron and AD last week. Pat Beverly poked the bear and got slapped around when the Lakers got to town. But I believe they can go ahead and beat this Memphis Grizzlies team if they put their mind to it. So
yeah, it's pivotal. It's pivotal. I believe because let's go over their last five.
All right.
So they got Grizzlies today.
Uh-huh.
I'm predicting that as a W.
All right, I'll take.
And then the Hawks are coming to town. We need that slot. Gotta win that game.
You gotta win that game.
Gotta win that game. So if we could pull out today and then the Hawks, the next game is the Bucks. That depends on if the Bucks feel like they already, solidified that number one seed, whether or not their guys will be out there. Yeah. But I'll go ahead and put that down as a loss because Celtics are nipping at the heels. And then we go to Dallas. They're not doing much. We can win. No. And then the Pistons. So conceivably, all right, Grizzlies at Bulls. Who you got winning that game today?
Home game, I'll take the Bulls.
So that's 1-0. Hawks at Bulls.
Home game, I'll take the Bulls.
So that's 2-0. Bulls are at Bucks.
Milwaukee, I'll take the Bucks.
That's 2-1. Bulls at Mavericks, no defense playing. The Alice Mavericks, no defense.
Yeah, but they got that Luka Doncic bullshit. I'll go with Dallas.
So that's 2-2. And then we close it out against the tanking Pistons, who do not want to win.
They don't beat the Pistons, damn it. They don't deserve to make it out of the United Center. So I'll take the Bulls in that game. I'll take the 3 home victories.
So that would put the Bulls, and I got them, either way, going 3-2 these last 5 games. Mm-hmm. So and beating the Hawks is pivotal. So that would have the Bulls finishing at 40-42, which is under 500, but we would have the 8th seed if this scenario plays out.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Let them get in there and get their participation bubblegum trophy. Maybe they can put out some T-shirts that say Bulls playoffs 2023, and then by next week we won't have to talk about them anymore.
All right, let's push on. Speaking of Ja Morant, he seeked out a drill rapper, Lil Baby, and then went and signed a jersey for him, and it made national news. What are your thoughts on that making national news?
I mean, I'm pretty sure this happens most games that, people have friends or relatives or famous people that they know that are sitting courtside. They come to the game. Either, I don't know if they, sign the jerseys on the court. They normally reserve that for other players or trade jerseys with other players. But, it's not a big deal. I mean, the guy's he's in the news because we know why he's in the news. So, hopefully we can get this season over with, and Ja Morant can go ahead and kiss some babies and do whatever he needs to do in the off season. And probably next they're gonna make him cut his hair to get back in the good graces of the people on Fox News.
Yeah, I agree. And big ups to Lil Baby. I mean, his I think he had a self-defense thing, so he's not a criminal as far as we know. There's plenty of drill rappers for him to seek out, for Ja Morant to seek out in Chicago, and this is just the type of distraction I'm looking for.
Yeah,
but
I wish I was there so I can go pick him up and take him on O-Block.
Drop him right off at O-Block. Here's the late God, I can't think of his name right now.
Duck G, shit.
Not Duck. Von. Here's the late King Von. Here's his mural. You can grab you a pistol and go on live right now and show everybody you're standing in front of the mural out here at O-Block. I have him out there at 3 a.m. I'd had him out. He showed up at the game at 2 o'clock Chicago time. You know what I'm saying? But on a serious note, yeah, it seems like, again, we talk about on this show all the time, nobody's perfect, but when we as melanin people make mistakes, they tend to keep it in the media cycle and start finding all types of nonsense.
Yeah.
Because Lil Baby's not even a criminal, as far as everybody knows. He's a rapper.
He's a rich rapper.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the one who killed someone in self-defense that was heard out in court, and he walked 100% free man. He was standing his ground out there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just that anytime they can put one of those alleged drill rappers or younger millionaire criminals together, it's good. It's a good narrative to disparage the name of someone who who's just in their 20s and made a mistake, and hopefully he can move on from there.
Yeah, but you're a dad. I mean, you can't stop your grown son from. I mean, those are their fans. They're like,
those are their peers.
Correct.
Yeah.
But was it a good look? Coming off of what he's coming off of, like, should he have turned his back on Lil Baby and said, "Get out of here! I can't be associated with your kind anymore because I just apologized to everybody and I'm turning my life around"?
Well, me in my 20s, screw the establishment and what they want to see. Me in my age now as a father, screw them. You never know how long this guy's gonna be kicking it. If
it would be like Tupac.
That was
telling somebody not to sign a jersey for Pac. Why'd you do that, son? Right. You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah. So, he's he's not my era of entertainer or rapper, but like you said, if Tupac or Biggie was at a game sitting courtside and came and chopped it up with me after the game, there's no way I wouldn't take off my jersey and sign it and give it to him. So, it's just, this is a dramatization by the media. So shout out to John Morant. Just stay on the right side, stay away from the guns and late night partying and drinking and driving. He hasn't broken any laws as far as I know. So
stay out of Arizona.
Yeah, well, definitely that.
In Indiana. All right, yeah. So we got the Black Fives, professional basketball's Negro leagues. Pull up. The link is pinned in the chat. If you do pull up, don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. You can be all wet.
Oh, wet.
Also, like, share, subscribe. So Colin Cowherd, he was Cowherd. He was last week's Booger of the Week, and I came across an article. His adult daughter, she's the alleged ex-girlfriend of Trey Lance, and this was in the media in November of 2022.
She was dating the Colored?
Yeah, Rich Colored.
No.
You went to a major Big Ten school, so you know how to get down with. Well, he's different. He's an athlete. He's going to be rich. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's from the projects. But you don't care. And then you said he beat you up, and now look at you.
Yeah.
But so Colin Cowherd, knowing the allegations, so we're saying, assuming the allegations were true, that his daughter was, messing around with the colored Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it's not. So Trey had gone to the strip club, to the gentleman's club. And,
allegedly,
I think they had him on video or something. These kids.
Wasn't he?
They videotape everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's go to Robert Taylor Homes and pick up a bag of marijuana and let's videotape ourselves doing it and all the guys selling it to us, and let's take selfies with them and post it all over the internet. Like, man, y'all stop censoring on yourself. But long story short, Cowherd, who's a journalist, educated, he can process. He said it's not, this was his message to Trey Lance. This is not the NBA. Here's the point. We don't know what's in his heart, what's he suggesting there. But he said it's not the NBA, man. You got 8 home games. You got to win them, especially when you have a Super Bowl roster. As of now, as of November 2022, Lance and Cowherd's daughter seem to have separated. Their rumored relationship was never made public, and neither was their breakup. So 2 questions. Had you heard about all of this? And is this just a dad reacting, or is this sports journalist? So, your daughter's man is out at the strip club, gentleman's club.
From what I heard, it was after a loss to the Chicago Bears. And
he was in Chicago at Club O.
Yeah, he was at Club O, or Arnie's Gentleman's Club, or somewhere on the side.
Arnie's, boy, we made Arnie's. Don't get me started. Go slide to there, get some pizza. They were selling after-hour liquor, allegedly.
Allegedly, we don't know what was going on in the back, but yeah, he was in shock after the loss to the Bears, and he allegedly went to the strip club and just let off a little steam before going back to
Gentleman's Club.
Fran. Yeah, and everybody got it all in their underwear all in a bunch concerning this, and here we are a year later, and you got a dad butthurt about his daughter dating a melanated player, and that's basically where it ends.
So is he suggesting that he should have flown in his daughter and
he had her strip club twerking in his hotel room, as opposed to him going out with with his teammates and enjoying the money that he's making. So yeah.
If the allegations are true, which they did seem to have been dating at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like he was butthurt that his potential son-in-law is out there. He's already melanated. He's on the clock for that. Right. Now look at him. He's out there at the gentleman's club after a loss.
Yeah. He's supposed to be getting better as a football player after a loss.
Processing his playbook.
Yeah. Read the playbook, getting treatment, thinking about his daughter, and working on the next game, all within the 12 hours of a loss. So,
and like you said, these guys are 22, 23, 24 years old. I mean, what were you doing, Colin Cowherd, at 23, 24?
Well, I knew some football players when they were in their 20s, and studying the playbook after a loss or after a win wasn't part of the agenda or program. So, I believe he's much closer to that world than I am. So, allegedly, but I think it was just concerned about what happened to his daughter, and he wanted to, since he had a platform to put it out there about his daughter dating some sort of color, he went on ahead and did it, and we don't know what's in his heart.
Moji's saying, we say two-parent homes such as John Morant, but his father, need to be his father and not his friend. But what about his mom? So I think he's saying that they're putting all the pressure on the dad to step up. And
dad's at the games.
And dad's in the picture. Okay, I'm not going to necessarily blame the mom. It takes two parents, don't get me wrong, but that's the dad's job, Coach, to kind of, pull in the reins a little bit. But at the same time, his son is adult and rich. I mean, he's the dad has done his job.
Yeah, I mean, the two-parent household has done the job. They reared him. They got him into college. He succeeded to that point. Now he's on to his professional career. And he might be hurting his value a little bit, but he's still going to make at least $200-300 million. So they've done their job. I mean, you want to give him a whooping on television? I mean,
and to quote you, Coach, you on your own, Sammy. You own your own. You know what I mean? You own your own. So, I'm sure his dad's raised him the same way. Once you, get out of my house and everything is to a man, it's on you. Now, if the son's calling and asking for counseling or anything like that, then fine. But I think his bigger point was, what about the mom? I mean, what can she do? I mean, come on, Coach. Well,
you're a man.
Coach was entangled, though. He worked for his family's business and all of that. So there was a lot of entanglements. But, hey, Mom, well, son, you shouldn't be going to the club and brandishing guns. Yes, I respect that, Mom, and you're right. But I'm sure they told him not to do nonsensical stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to learn certain things. He's got to experience things on his own. I mean, we've made mistakes as adults and as youths that we try and pass the knowledge on to our kids. Will they adhere to the information that we give them? Yeah, they might hear it, but they might not process it and might not be able to apply it at the time that it's needed. So, and I mean, the kid has he broken the law yet? I mean, what?
No, everything he did in Arizona was illegal because they couldn't prove he was inebriated or drinking at the time that he brandished the gun. He could have broken some laws on his own property, but again, he could have been standing his own ground. He was on his property and allegedly, I think, put hands or up thing on a high school kid. And allegedly, they went to his old high school where his sister went, him and his posse. Did Phil Jackson say posse without being called some sort of We don't know what's in Phil Jackson's heart.
Right.
But allegedly, he and the posse went up there after somebody said some words, and I think called his sister the B word, and brandished,
another weapon.
Yeah,
allegedly.
But he hasn't been charged or convicted or arrested for anything. So, to your point, has he broken any laws? I would say no.
Oh, okay. So I mean, it's hearsay and alleged judgment problems that the media has with them right now. So yeah, as far as the two-parent household being concerned with this situation, these are some of the experiences you go through as a post-teenager. Especially a post-teenager that has access to capital, access to people that will back you or people that will help you make bad decisions because they're part of your entourage and your well-being is their concern by any means necessary. So I wouldn't blame it on the parents or the fact that the two-parent household or anything such as that. The dad is at the games. Dad's not going to the club with him after the game. He's going to his house or he's going to, wherever he's going. But, to blame it on the parents at this point in this young man's career, yeah, I couldn't go with that.
I mean, if he's calling his mom saying, "Hey, mom, I'm about to go to the club and get crap faced," and post on IG me holding an automatic weapon, and then she said, "All right, son, be careful, have fun." Then that's a whole different issue. But I can't imagine any of this is going on.
Yeah, it's just a moment in time where a decision was made, and it wasn't a good decision, and it was recorded. And, like you said earlier in the show, stop snitching on yourself, guys. Stay off the damn IG and Facebook and, stop it.
And Pink Man brandishing weapons, he's flexing his Second Amendment rights.
Yeah,
melanated brandishing weapons, it's illegal, and he's a thug.
Yeah, he's gonna go kill somebody. Yeah,
shoot up a school or something.
Yeah, as
even
a transgender.
Even though that's not us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Big ups to the transgenders out there.
All
right. Yeah. All right. So now the Black Fives basketball Negro leagues. The link's in the chat. So we're gonna do a little pocket watching here in these next two segments. So the predominantly melanated running back position has been devalued by the National Football League, the Shield, and their media puppets. But somehow, the Pink Man, we don't know what's in its heart.
We don't know what's in its heart.
Christian McCaffrey, who is a beast, although he's had injury history, just like Lamar Jackson,
just like Saquon, yeah,
is the highest paid running back at $16 million per year. How do you weigh this?
Well, he comes from wealth. They give each other things, and he is a beast. So he's got a little triumphant of things going on. The fact that they devalued the position is kind of ludicrous as far as I'm concerned. When you have, it's supposed to be a passing league, but the majority of the passing is based on play action fake, which means running the ball or fake running the ball to your running back who you want to be a
should be a threat.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, any type of devaluing a position in a sport that makes so much money is part of what the ownership does to players when they want to save money. They call it collusion. when you got an MVP quarterback that's available that nobody wants to trade for, you got a bunch of teams with bums running out there every week at the quarterback position. That's collusion. And I don't know what the Players Association is doing about this, but they need to jump on this. They're colluding not to sign Lamar Jackson. He's not going to be hurting for money, but he's going to be on a 1-year contract going into next year. So this
here's my point on here's my take on this
collusion.
Christian McCaffrey. He's the only non-melanated running back, I think, in the league. I mean, I'm sure I'm probably wrong on that, but I'm saying, I mean, seriously, you could think of another one. You go ahead and name it, coming off the bench or anywhere. I find it funny that this position is 98% melanated, and they find a way to take a player who has a history of being injured. Mm-hmm. The narrative isn't, well, he's a running back and the clock on them is short and blah, 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 blah.
Drop dead gorgeous, too.
Yeah, that's what the narrative is. He's smart, he's processing, he's drop dead gorgeous, and he's the highest paid running back in the league. I will say this. It makes me feel some type of way. Now, just my spidey senses are tingling. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what's in their hearts.
Yeah, it's collusion in their hearts. They do whatever it takes to change the narrative as far as positions are concerned every year. Now you pay the quarterback, you go and draft or find any running backs, and they collude not to pay players. They got Austin Eckler out there in your neck of the woods, out there in L.A. They don't want to pay him. Go find you a trade. They know that nobody can trade for him because they had to trade. They had to give up draft picks and pay this guy. So the system that they've set up to exclude these players from getting paid until they reach free agency is working for the owners, and they can just collude to make it keep working. Collusion.
Collusion. All right.
Caucasity, collusion. They both start with a C.
The caucasity of collusion. So more pocket watching. Right now, we're going to run through the top 9 career NFL money owners. All right. And what we're going to do, we're going to go from 9 to 1. We're going to list some highlights that they put in this article here. And what we're going to do is we're going to see who's earned the money and who hasn't. I think some of you guys might be surprised because we want to give you guys data here. We don't want you to think that we're coming here with just feelings when we talk about collusion, spreading the money out, keeping us with less money, reparations now, and then paying others. All right, so we're going to start out number 9, Matthew Stafford. Let me give you his highlights and then we'll comment. He's earned a total of $239.3 million. We're not talking about, endorsements for being drop dead gorgeous. Yeah. He's played 13 years in the league. He's the highest single season earnings, $51.1 million.
Oh my gosh.
Includes a $50 million signing bonus in 2017. He's got 1 chip where I don't believe he was MVP. He's only, and they've been talking, and Ace, they've been talking Hall of Fame for this guy, right? He's got 1 chip, 1 Pro Bowl, and 0 first team All Pro.
What was his number? 200 what million?
$239.3 million. And again, 1 chip, 1 Pro Bowl, 0 first team All Pro, and they even got melanated people running around saying that he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, they watch Fox.
All right. So has he earned that money?
Absolutely not. And being a North Division player for most of his career, those stats were pumped up by Megatron, who decided to just leave football as opposed to be part of that crap that was going on in Detroit. So,
correct. And do you think Lamar Jackson and his mom and his team are looking at stuff like this when they're at the negotiation table?
Absolutely. Like, look at this bum who ended up winning a championship by being traded out to a team that had
that was loaded.
That was loaded, had a Super Bowl defense. All he had to do was show up for a few games and
a few series, right?
Basically, and he's got a chip. So yes, absolutely, they're looking at this.
All right, so we both agree. Number 8, Phillip Rivers, QB. He's earned $243.9 million, but that was over 17 seasons. His highest single, and he showed up and played. He was available. He played hurt, but his highest single season earnings was $32 million, and he had a $17 million signing bonus in 15. Now, Phil Rivers had 0 chips, but 8 Pro Bowls, as opposed to 1 Pro Bowl for Stafford.
Stafford, yeah.
And 0 first team All Pro. Should he be on this list?
Well, it's the money list, so he is on it. He's by
did he earn that money?
Default of being a quarterback and drop dead gorgeous and playing out there on the left coast.
I'm going to say yeah, because he's played 17 seasons and 8 Pro Bowls, even though no first team All Pro. But I'm just going to say yeah, because his money is broken down over 17 seasons.
Yeah, and he was a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Was he great? I wouldn't say so. Was his teams ever great? Offensively, they might have been, but defensively, he had some good teams too. They just didn't win it. So that over 17 seasons, yes, he earned his money.
But I got issues with cats not being first team All Pro, being so high on this list.
Yeah.
But he played 17 seasons, so I'm gonna be all okay with that. All right, so let's move on. Peyton, drop dead, gorgeous Manning. We don't know if he sexually assaulted that poor girl in college. Things of this nature.
You saying the teabag incident?
Yeah. And you have some tea. So he had 200. He made 200. He earned $248.7 million and countless other millions with his endorsements.
Right.
He earned this over 18 seasons. So he made 248, whereas Phillip Rivers made 243. Somebody needs a new agent. But he played 18 seasons. His highest earnings was $35 million in 2004, including a $34.5 million sign-on bonus. Got 2 chips, which he earned, 14 Pro Bowls, and 7 first-team All-Pro. His final paycheck in NFL was a $4 million bonus for winning the Super Bowl in 15. He had 1 year and a $19 million remaining on his contract that he walked away from. So I'll take this. Outside of the allegations and the teabagging incident, yes, from what I saw from Peyton, he deserved every penny.
Yeah, I mean, and he sacrificed his body to get that money. He didn't deserve the championship in 2006. If the Bears would have just gave Thomas Jones the ball and just ran the damn ball down the coach's throat, he wouldn't have got that chip. But that's neither here nor there. But
and his chips only happened when he had a defensive running game behind him, just like many of Tom Brady's. But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that Peyton Manning deserves his place on this list and the money that he made.
7 first team All Pro. I just want everybody to know that this is the stuff you're looking at when you're talking Hall of Famer, and that's what Primetime was talking about. You're letting bums in the Hall of Fame. Yeah,
all these guys that should be on the side of the Hall of Fame, just brushing the grass or raking the grass or running a lawnmower on the side of the building. as opposed to guys that belong in there. So yeah,
who dominated their era. And you couldn't say, well, the only reason Stafford's not on getting all pros is because Peyton Manning. Well, that's the point.
yeah,
Peyton Manning was the Hall of Famer from that era,
right.
and Stafford isn't.
Right, absolutely.
All right, so we agree, Peyton. So we got 2 yeses and 1 no.
Yeah.
All right, now you notice another QB. Talk about legacy and already rich. Eli Manning, Peyton's brother. He earned $252.3 million. So he started a little later, so that's probably why his money's a little higher than his brother.
Yeah.
But he did it in 16 seasons as opposed to 18. His highest single earnings was $37 million, including a $31 million signing bonus in 15. He got 2 chips, and we know that was because of his running game and his defense, but he got 2 chips. 4 Pro Bowls, 0 first team All-Pro. And again, the national narrative is that he should be in the Hall of Fame. And this is what I debate with people, that these guys were just also rans. Manning retired from the NFL after 16 seasons and 2 Super Bowls. His final seasons, the Giants paid him $17 million, which made him the highest paid player in NFL history at that time. Not bad for being maybe just the 3rd best quarterback in his family. Ooh, Cooper? Well, we won't get there. So
Arch, or there's Dad.
Yeah, he must be talking about Archie. Yeah. So I'm gonna say no.
4.
I'm gonna say he's overpaid.
He
didn't earn it. I'm sorry.
Well, he had Super Bowl.
If Lamar Jackson can't get a contract, go ahead. My fault. Go ahead.
He had Super Bowl defenses when he won those chips. He made a couple of throws like Stafford in those series to get him over, but
Trashford.
Yeah, he's a Manning, which is why he garnered so much attention and all his money. But when it comes down to it, he might fall down to 4, because you got Archie, the dad, you got Peyton, you got
Cooper's son.
Yeah, Cooper's son, who's just starting his college career. And, if he gets to the pros and does what everybody's expecting him to do, and, Eli might fall to number 4 in that family. But as far as earning his money, I believe the defensive team of the New York Giants earned that money for him. Both Super Bowls.
So we got all quarterbacks on the list, regardless of these Hall of Fame edge rushers and cats like this. But let's move on to our next number 5. Another quarterback, FGB, smug Aaron Rodgers. He's earned $263.6 million over 17 seasons. His highest single season earnings was $66.9 million. Lamar can't even get over $35 million. Mm-hmm. He's got 1 chip, 10 Pro Bowls, and 4 first team All-Pro. So I'm going to say he's had back-to-back MVP awards. As much as I have such a strong disdain for the Packers, A, he's a Hall of Famer, and B, I'm okay with Aaron Rodgers earning that type of dough. Any thoughts?
FGB, as a disclaimer, Aaron Rodgers earning that type of dough, he has that type of talent. Does he have that type of finishing skills? Absolutely not. They've won one Super Bowl during his era, just like in the Brett Favre era. So was he worth the money that he received from the Packers? Absolutely. Should he have done more? Absolutely. Any team that can win a division as many times as the Fudge Packers did and not come away with more chances at a chip, they're a disappointment. So is he a Hall of Fame quarterback? Yes, he is. Did he do everything he could have done during his career? Absolutely not. He could have, Rex Grossman could have got lucky one year and won a damn championship, and they would have had the same amount of chips ending their career. But Aaron Rodgers just would have been deemed a better quarterback because of the longevity of his career. So, yeah.
All right. So right now we're in agreement. We have 3 people who've earned their money. All of them will probably be in the Hall of Fame, except for maybe Phillip Rivers. He might get in because he's pink.
Yeah, he probably will because of longevity.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd give him my vote because I got standards of first team all pro. You know.
Yeah.
But that being said, let's move to number 4. Not surprisingly, it's another quarterback, Matt Tryon Ryan. He's earned $267 million over a 14-year career. His highest single, and this is what Lamar's team's looking at. His highest single season earnings is $44.8 million. He got a $42 million sign-on bonus in 2019. Matt Tryon Ryan has 0 chips, 4 Pro Bowls, and 1 first team All-Pro. I'll start. I'm going to say no to the Hall of Fame, big fat no. And I'm going to say that Matt Ryan was severely overpaid and should not be on this list. They could have found a colored running back or defensive guy that should be replacing some of these guys.
Well, I mean, Matt Ryan lucked up and got into a city that desperately needed a quarterback and desperately needed somebody that can play. He got him to the playoffs a few times. He got him to the Super Bowl. He just didn't win. Does he deserve that money that he received? Absolutely not. Will he make the Hall of Fame? Absolutely not. Matter of fact, he'll be out of the league, if not this year, by next year. And, there'll be no reason to talk about him.
So we're in agreement. So now we got 3 of these guys on the list we think earned their money and 3 who didn't. Number 3, Big Ben Roethlisberger. He's earned $267.3 million. He was a game manager. Everybody used to call him that. His highest single season earnings was $35.3 million, including a $31 million signing bonus. Big Ben has 2 championships, 6 Pro Bowls, 0 first team All-Pro, which proves to me game management.
0 rape convictions.
Yeah, 0, but 2 allegations of forcible sexual assault. We're not talking, touching and having a towel, this and that. We're talking actually taking everything. So I'm going to say no to the Hall of Fame, and I'm going to say Big Ben was overpaid. What are your thoughts?
Well, absolutely he was game manager, but that's what, Pittsburgh had him in place to do. They were based on running game and defense. And that's what happened. They ran the ball, and the defense got them to the chips.
And their coach.
Definitely the coach, which they still try to discount every year, waiting for him not to make the playoffs because he's melanated. But, that's neither here nor there. Even a franchise that instituted the development of the Rooney Rule and given a coach such as Tomlin the opportunity to run this franchise. Yeah, it's but we don't know what's in their hearts. We don't know what's in the rest of the owners of the NFL's team's hearts. So but does Roethlisberger, allegedly Roethlisberger, deserve to earn this money? Absolutely not. He was just in a situation with a long-time contract, a good coach, and that's what he got. He got a tenure in a city that didn't want to get rid of him, a coach that didn't want to get rid of him until it was time. His last 4 years were absolute trash, and he should have been gone a little bit earlier, but they had nobody to replace him. He just ran the system. And
he should have been in prison. I can't hear you. But if he was if he was colored, he would have been in prison. They locked up Mike Tyson on less.
Absolutely. I mean,
Tupac on less.
But he's non-melanated, so of course he didn't go to prison. He went right back out there and started throwing the football. So
we're talking about an alleged serial R, and that never stops. So potentially, this animal could still be out there.
Yeah, well, I believe he got himself together financially and went to legally, and started going to the NDO agreements before his escapades out in the bars and having women signing these documents before
Yeah, but that's the psychology. These guys, he's probably been doing it since college. They just want to take. They don't want consensual. When you study the psychology of a serial R,
but he does have a financial team that told him, hey, if you want to make it to the other side of being a serial R, then you probably need to get these documents signed.
Once they
you got to fight these demons inside of you.
But once they sign the documents, he no longer wants it because that's what I'm saying. It's a
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
And so but and those are allegations. He was never convicted
allegedly.
Yeah. So it's just how my opinion. So all right. So right now we've got 4 overpaid pink QBs versus 3 who've earned their money. So number 2, Drew, life's a breeze. He earned $269.7 million over 20 seasons. $40 million was his highest single season earnings, includes $37 million signing bonus in 2012. And if you think Lamar Jackson's team's not looking at that, they gave him $40 million back in 2012. It's 2023 for peak's sake. So Drew Brees has got 1 chip, 13 Pro Bowls, and he's first team All Pro. Now, normally I want you to have multiple first team All Pros before I would put you in the HOF. But Drew Brees, in my opinion, I would vote for him if I had a vote to be enshrined in Cooperstown. That all being said, I'll give him a yes. In my opinion, Drew Brees earned that dough. Thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. I wanted Drew Brees back in the days before, right after he got his shoulder hurt. And,
he was at San Diego first, but go ahead.
Yeah. But the Bears had no interest. They wanted a healthy quarterback as opposed to picking up Drew Brees because he was a free agent at the time.
They didn't want to pay $267 million, but go ahead. The misers of the Midway. Go ahead.
But he was nowhere in that salary range when he hurt his shoulder, and Phillip Rivers moved in to take over the quarterback position out there in San Diego.
Was Bruce a local guy? Did he go to some local shithole college like Eastern or something like that?
Who's that?
Drew Brees. Didn't he go to a shithole?
Yeah, he was in the Big Ten. Eastern? I think it was Purdue.
Oh yeah, Purdue. You're right. It wasn't a shithole. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Bears had no interest. Then he got hurt in his free agent year, and no interest, and he ended up in New Orleans, and San Diego got Phillip Rivers, and we're still looking for the backup to Sid Luckman here in Chicago. So, yeah. Drew Brees earned every dollar.
All right, so we're in agreement, and I know we're on a time crunch, so I'll go ahead and get this wrapped up. Let's go ahead to number 1, Tom Brady, $303 million over 22 seasons. Highest seasons, 39.4. He's got 7 chips, 15 Pro Bowls, and 3 first-team All-Pro. Once a game manager, drafted 6th round overall. This is going to be a controversial take for me, but I'm going to say he was overpaid to be the highest paid player in the history of the game. He does have 7 chips, He does have 7 chips. I was on the fence on this one. My initial reaction was yes, but I'm going to say no. No.
Okay. Tom Terrific for me is drop dead gorgeous. He had a supermodel as a wife, and he's got 7 chips. No matter what team it was in New England or down there in Tampa Bay. Damn it, he deserves. He played 75 years in the NFL. He deserves his money.
If he was colored, he wouldn't have been paid like that.
You don't think? Absolutely not, because what examples do we have such as Warren Moon or Randall Cunningham played for a number of years and wouldn't have got that kind of money. But man, Tom Terrific, I got to go with him. He deserved his cash. Now, I don't know about this transfer over to the broadcasting booth where they're trying to pay him $350 million, but for as far as football is concerned, as a game manager of a 7-time Super Bowl champion, I'm going with Tom Terrific.
And, again, I can't argue that. And yeah. All right. So real quick. So we got pretty much both of us. Half of them did not earn their money. It would probably be at like 4.5. Those are all quarterbacks. I personally have an issue with that because, I've always devalued that position. The guys in the trenches, all of that has to be together for a quarterback to even have a shot at anything. So
to succeed, absolutely.
Yeah. So you need some coloreds. There was no colored player on there. You might have Handy J. Handy J might be on there soon
in the future.
Yeah, but no colored player was on there. To your point about collusion.
Well, I mean, Sideshow Bob will be there eventually. Once we get into the new era of what these quarterbacks are, these football players are making toward the end of their career. Maybe we'll do this again in 10 years. You'll see what a different era or a different melanation of quarterbacks will be in this top 10 category. Is Sideshow Bob's contract is allegedly $500 million. So we'll see how much he actually makes toward the end of his career. And you got a bunch of other players, Handy J. But yeah, it's going to be tough for him to break into that category.
Well, Sideshow signed a very team-friendly bill. He comes from money, ex-athletes. Yeah. But the Mannings came from money too, and they're on this list, so we'll see them. Yeah. But Black Fives, so just after the game of basketball was invented in 1891, teams were called Fives in reference to their 5 starting players. Basketball, just like American society, was racially segregated. Teams made up of entirely colored players were often known as colored quints, Negro cagers, and they were probably using the N-word, or Black Fives.
Yeah, absolutely.
The sport remained divided from 1904 when basketball was first introduced to African Americans on a wide scale until the racial integration of the NBL, National Basketball League, in 1940s and the NBA in the 50s. The period in between became known as the Black Fives era when dozens of all-black teams emerged, flourished, and excelled. African Americans were making moves in basketball generations before the NBA was born. At first, those teams sponsored by churches, athletic and social clubs, colored YMCAs, businesses, and newspapers had few places to play, since gymnasiums and athletic clubs were whites only. But when the phonograph emerged in the early 1900s, black music, ragtime, jazz, and blues became so popular that a dance craze swept America almost overnight. Sheet music and player pianos in the parlor gave way to dance halls and ballrooms. Positive and culturally affirming opportunities in the entertainment industry replaced the insulting, degrading minstrelsy of the past, which still goes on today, in my opinion. For observant and enterprising African-American sports promoters, these spaces became ready-made basketball venues on off nights, featuring music by top black musicians and dancing afterward until well past midnight. In urban industrial centers like New York, Washington, Pittsburgh, and Chi, people were in motion. New migrants from the South, as well as new immigrants from parts of the Caribbean, Africa, Central and South America, were looking for ways to meet each other and assimilate. As a result, Black Fives era basketball games went beyond the sport itself and became meaningful social events. Though commonplace today, the marriage of basketball and music was an African American innovation that grew out of necessity, opportunism, timing, and broad cultural awareness by community leaders of the time. This is why so many early game advertisements included the headline, "Basketball and Dance." There never existed a Black professional basketball league akin to baseball Negro leagues. However, independent African American teams played within a well-organized nationwide barnstorming chitlin circuit. They commanded national attention in the Negro press and headlines in local papers while battling for the annual right to be called colored basketball world champions. The Black Fives era spanned what were perhaps America's darkest yet most colorful years, a rich period that included the first Black migration, the emergence of the phonograph and radio, the growth of entertainment culture, the explosion of jazz, ragtime, and blues, vice reform, lynchings, and race riots, the ballroom dancing craze, prohibition, the roaring 20s, the Harlem Renaissance, the Great Depression, 2 world wars, and the golden age of sports. Out of many, one African American team, the New York Renaissance, aka Harlem Wrens, stood apart as arguably the most successful basketball team of the century, irrespective of race or ethnicity. From 1923 to 1948, the Wrens won 83% of their games, sustained over a 25-year period. They ushered in the Harlem Renaissance period, smashed the color barrier in pro basketball, and helped pave the way for civil rights. The teams and players of the Black Five eras created something from nothing with no roadmap, no instructions, no recipes, despite many fears, doubts, and obstacles, and for little more than the love of the game. With definite plans, collective purposes, and relentless pursuit, they kept climbing the higher levels of success on increasingly bigger stages in front of an ever-growing audience. All the while, they fostered hope, aspiration, pride, unity, pragmatism, and self-esteem among African Americans during the time, the most pivotal period in Black history of the last century, when those attributes were prerequisites for sheer survival. The men and women of the Black Fives era were true basketball pioneers whose desire simply to play the best and innovate the game opened doors for generations of African American players. In doing so, they left a worldwide legacy that inspires not only ballers, but also all of us today. That's from the Black Fives Foundation, and we're going to put the link in the chat. What are your comments on this as we wrap up, Ace, the Black Fives?
Black Fives, it's another era that needs to be embraced, investigated by not investigated, but encouraged by
explored.
By these leagues that prospered off of them from the time that they were dissolved until now. You got Major League Baseball finally recognizing the records of the Negro League players. You need to recognize the Black players that weren't allowed in football prior to the integration of in the NFL. And even in Chicago, you got the league still going back, especially the Bears, going back to the Sid Luckman era as far as quarterbacks are concerned. And he never played with any melanated player. He's winning championships when Blacks weren't allowed in the NFL back in the day. So the Black Fives, it had to be a certain era when your Greek organizations were being formed in those early 1900s. And, it was integrated into the NBA in the 1950s with, like we had on our show last week, Mr. Lloyd being the first Black player to play in the NBA. So, all of these era players in this time, not just building video games where, the league can capitalize on them, but they need to be recognized as far as the fortitude and what they did to transition melanated players from not playing.
And innovated. And we innovated the game.
Absolutely. From the ABA, the NBA, and the type of play and the rules that are still evolved in the game now. So absolutely.
Yeah, and I think the necessity, in a lot of ways, this racism has made us obviously weaker, but then on the other hand, it's made us so strong as a people.
Yeah.
The endurance, the ingenuity, making more out of less, which we all know how in our families, we can stretch a stew into a 2-week meal.
Right.
One thing I will say to your point, before I throw it to you for the final words, is it's interesting how this isn't being acknowledged and explored. MLB has been doing a good job of at least getting this information out there. But I wish I had known about this more, coming up as a youth, in basketball, because even in this article, it didn't talk about the specifics that we added to the game, because I can guarantee you, maybe the pick and roll, the give and go, I guarantee you those non-melanateds weren't doing that. Right. And some of the things we were doing got implemented, by coaches and organizations in those professional white leagues that, we don't get credit for.
Yeah. So as going into my final word, as we've been exploring the last few weeks of his story about versus history, these leagues need to recognize, emphasize, and explore and celebrate the play of these historic players as far as their leagues are concerned. Yeah, we know the dates or the supposed dates when the leagues were integrated as far as Major League Baseball, football, and basketball are concerned. But there's no emphasis on the history prior to the integration of these leagues, what was going on during the integration as far as what these players had to endure just to make it to a game, make it to another city, not be hurt, not have their families come to the game. And if these major leagues don't want to accept what happened or apologize for what happened, then it's up to the players now, the player associations, and us as melanated people to celebrate our history as far as this country is concerned, and these different leagues, because they're still making money. There's no reparations in the leagues. There's no reparations for these players' families. There was no health care. They were counting on all of them to finally pass on or not survive or do what they had to do for them after they left the league or left this earth, or so for Major League Baseball, for NFL, for football. Now, I know you want to talk about these players and these different time frames when they integrated these leagues, even for the NCAA, for Cheney State, for you not to recognize that team, and you got a Final Four this weekend is atrocious. So that's probably my goal for the next year, to inform all these leagues of what they need to do to celebrate their history, the real history of their league. And that's my final word.
Yeah, well said. And we expanded basketball, Ace. We brought money to the table. It's been said that the Harlem Globetrotters, who started in Chicago, was able to fill up venues that these white stadiums couldn't fill up. So as we did with music and things of that nature, we made them profitable. So big ups to our ancestors on that. So those are my final words. Ace, I wanted to say you and I both picked, I picked San Diego and you picked some shithole school to make it to the NCAA chip. Looks like they've both made it. So we got to do a little bet or something, because I got San Diego winning it all here against that shithole school you went up against. You picked in the Final Four. So yeah, we'll come up with something. And then that does it, you guys. Stay tuned for the Self Love Show coming up in 30 minutes. The Midwest Festival presents House Stock 2023. And we'll come at you for a topic next week. Big Ace is traveling and currently getting kicked out of the hotel they're staying in due to a late checkout, colored checkout. So, as always, you find yourself sliding through the great city of Chicago, keep your head on a swivel. You might be dipping through Inglewood, Cali. Watch your back. Check your 6 and your blind spot. Make sure, be sure to guard your grill. Knuckle up. And don't forget to Mouthpiece included. And don't forget to bring your